welcome to the Nordic Mythology podcast. I'm Daniel Farrand, owner of the company Horns of Odin. As always, before we jump into the show, I do have to plug our Patreon. It's how we keep the show going. It's literally the lifeline. Jump over to Patreon/Nordic Mythology podcast. Check out all the little bonus material content we've got on there. Primarily our Q&A episode that we do every single week with our guests. After the show, we sit down for maybe 15, 20 minutes extra and we let you guys ask your questions. And a lot of the time, there's so much information that me and Mags have missed. There's a lot of good questions come from the patrons. So it's worth listening to. It's worth checking out. If you like an episode, there's always that little bumper part to it. With that said, if you can't support financially, obviously just a like, share, positive review, 5-star rating, hit the little bell button, subscribe on YouTube, might help somebody else find us. And with that said, let's get into today's show. I'm joined by my lovely co-host and in-house archaeologist, Mags Havgar. And Mags, your setup is getting better every week.
Really? You think so?
Uh-huh.
Hey, I'm excited. What are you talking about? Any specifics right now?
The new picture over your left shoulder.
Yes, actually, I want to give a little shout out for those of you watching this. Hint, hint, go watch this on YouTube, guys. I want to give a big shout out to my friend Alex, who is loaning me this wonderful reproduction of an Egyptian, I don't know. It's not from Egypt, I have to say, but it's wonderful. We looked at it and we were like, oh, I wonder, because it's originally from his grandma's. And we were like, okay, is this from Egypt? And he goes, I'm going to translate this. And he goes, AS Nordisk Kunstindustri, Pilestredet 47, København. So it's from Copenhagen.
Oh, well.
But it's really nice. Of the Queen Nefertari, wife of Ramses II.
Weren't they just as bad as us Brits at taking things that maybe...
The Danes don't have a good track record on that front, but we'll leave that for another episode.
But
anyway, thank you, Dan.
Maybe it did come from Egypt originally.
Who knows? I'm pretty sure it's plaster, but... Let's do that. Let's save that for another time. But thank you anyway.
With that YouTube mentioned, we are going to start trying to live stream all the episodes on YouTube if we can figure out. This is the first one. So if you are watching this on YouTube, hello, hopefully it's working. Bear with us. There might be some technical issues. But let's get it to our guest. I messaged Espen 3 years ago, I think it was, and then we kind of spoke a little bit and I didn't reply, very embarrassingly, and I apologized greatly to Espen for that, but I'm glad that we finally get to do this now. My guest is Espen Winther. Espen is you're from Tronsberg, the oldest town in Norway, which I didn't know before you sent me this lovely bio.
It's the oldest still existing town.
Oh, okay.
Again, shout out. My family's also originally from the Tønsberg area, so represent. Hey, nice.
And for those of you who don't know who Espen is a wonderful photographer. That's what I learned you by to start with, but you're also a musician. You started playing guitar at 8. You played the drums in your first band. You converted to bass, vocals, guitar, back to bass again, and then you were in Eldrim for 10 years, were you?
Yeah, we just ended the Eldrim story a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. So you Eldrim for 10 years, and then you did say, now there is no band, shoulders are lighter and the world of music is wider, which I thought was a perfect way to end it. And then you sent me a message 2 seconds later. Forgot to mention that I'm in Folket Botafor Norvaviden?
Nordavinden.
No.
The North Wind.
Yeah, the people beyond the North Wind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Love that name, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we had Benny on not so long ago, and Benny's a lovely guy.
Yeah,
and the music is fantastic. How long have you been with them?
I'm not sure. The first time Benny asked if I wanted to join at Midgardsblot, I'm not sure what year it was, but I've been a while. Some years.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining. Really appreciate your time. And like I said before, I apologize that it took so long to.
That's
to get
3 years
back.
of not sleeping for me. What happened? What happened? Why doesn't he want to talk?
I know. I reached out, and then obviously you agreed, and then I mean it was in 2022 when I had a lot going on, and then I was like, this week I was like, who do we need to get on the podcast? I was like, Espen. Why has Espen never been on? And I went back and looked to the chat. I was like, oh fuck! I'm now gonna reach out and also apologize on your birthday as well.
That story just kept getting better and better, Dan. Good job. Good job, my friend. You did well.
Absolute humble pie I had to eat, but we got here, and I'm glad that we finally did. Where should we start? I'm trying to think whether we go chronologically or we go photography then music, because I love your photography. I think it's fantastic. Are you still doing it?
Yeah, so I used to carry the camera all the time. Now I bring it on occasions more. I had it every day, all the time. Now it's more. Yesterday I was photographing at the concert with two of my fellow members from Eldrim as another band, Canardus Horribilis. They are playing medieval music, and they were playing at the pub in Tønsberg, so I was shooting them.
Is that like just typical, I guess, as of the show whilst it's going, rather than kind of away from the show and more like marketing stuff, I guess?
Was there a question in there? I'm sorry.
I mean, no. I mean, as in, was it photos of the gig, as it was going on, rather than, because a lot of the stuff I see of yours tends to be quite artistic. It's set up and or portraits, but I don't think I've seen much of your like live music stuff. Was what I was getting.
I'm not doing very much. I'm not doing so much of anything now of photo, but they asked if I could, and I could and would. So
that's nice.
And I haven't had time to look at the photos yet, but I think I have captured some.
I'm sure you will.
Ones. But I usually, because when I always had my camera on me, I stop people on the streets and. Hello, you look beautiful. Can I please take it? Can I shoot you? Norwegians are, at least Norwegian men are quite, we don't like compliments much. So at least from another man. So it takes a little more energy to
convince them?
Yeah, to convince a man that he has beautiful eyes or beautiful face or beautiful anything. But I think the two people who, during all my years of photo, has said no, two people has said no. One was at the Borre Viking market. The first year I was shooting Vikings in a market. It was a Sunday quite early, and she felt like a Sunday quite early, so she didn't want a picture.
I mean, she must have looked good if you were wanting to take a photo.
Yeah.
Unless it was the early Sunday morning look you were going for.
Yeah, but that if you have lived, if it was just yesterday or a whole life, you look more beautiful, in my opinion.
That's true. I agree with that.
Do you always stay away from, I guess, like studio shots? Is it always outside, natural?
I find those much easier to make the outside in the moment shots. I find those easier than the ones planned, unless I have a really good plan set up for something special. But I like when I see your face. Oh man, can I please?
Was that scary the first time that you just randomly went up to somebody and said, "Can I take your picture?"
No, it's because I'm so convinced that what I see is what's real. So I don't have any issues of telling people what I think and how they look. So
I love that.
That's great. That's very allow me to be very a little bit stereotypical for a minute, but that's very un-Scandinavian of you to have that sort of just walking up to people and just being like, "Hey, you look beautiful. Can I please grab a picture of you?" And I love that because we need more of that. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, and I had the lens I used was a comfortable lens to keep me on the distance, so I wasn't up in their face when I shot them. So I could stay 2 meters away from them and get that close portrait anyway.
So still with a comfortable Scandinavian distance. Yeah.
I didn't. Nice. I didn't come too close.
Yeah, didn't encroach on personal space.
Because I think our personal space is quite big here.
Yeah, 100%. I actually noticed that when I was back in the US before Christmas last year, that without me even realizing it, something weird happened when I landed back in Oslo. I noticed that my personal space suddenly got a bit bigger than it had been the 2 weeks I was in the States. I was like, that's weird.
If at least in this part of Norway, the east and southeast of Norway, we are quite. If we go on a bus, we rather stand on the bus than sit next to someone if it's full. The bus is full if there's one person in the double seat.
Yeah.
So you don't. I'd rather stand. No, I'm good. I stand.
Yeah.
I love it when the bus drivers literally go, "Guys, it's getting really full. Can you please sit down?" And people are like, "Oh, fine. I guess I'll have to impede on someone I don't know."
Are you from Scandinavia, Max?
Yeah. I'll just do this in Norwegian quickly then, and I'll switch back to English saying the exact same thing. Yeah, jeg er fra Drammen. Født og oppvokst i Oslo, eller jeg er født i Oslo og oppvokst i Drammen, og så flyttet vi til USA. So I just said that I am Norwegian, but I partially grew up in the States.
Yeah, because you read the part on the Egyptian thing quite good.
with the and everything. And honestly, I have to admit, I do go by Mags just because I feel like Mags is quicker to say in English than Margrethe or Margaret. Okay. It's just quicker. So Margrethe is my legal name.
I wonder how many people who listen to this, Mags, don't realize that you are, because we don't say it in every episode.
No, we don't.
And you don't speak Norwegian in every episode.
No, we don't.
But you do have quite an Americanized accent.
I gotta say, I kind of love it. I love being a bit of like a what should I say, like a plant.
Like a spy.
A wallflower?
No, but like being like a seeming like I'm American, but I'm not actually.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever catch anybody out? Do you ever catch anybody out like speaking in Norwegian but like talking trash, and you can hear them?
Seldomly. I'd say it was when we lived in the States. It was usually the other way around, where my sister and I would speak in Norwegian when we were in the States, and my mom would be like, "You guys need to watch out." And then I remember we were back in actually Tønsberg, where my family have a summer house, or they have a summer house we have a summer house at Veiland outside of Nøtterøy. We were in the store, and we were young at the time. I think my sister was maybe 12 and I was 14. And we had gotten into this really bad habit about making little innocent but not necessarily very polite comments about people, because we were used to people not understanding what we were saying. And my sister commented on something this dude was wearing, and I was like, we're in Norway now, you can't say that kind of stuff. And she was like, "Oh, right." And then she switched to English, and I was like, "That's not helping. Everyone can still understand us."
Oh dear! I wish that I could speak another language just for that, just to catch people out. Espen, let's get into your music, because I feel like that seems to have been with you. So when did you get into photography? Was that later in life?
Yeah, I had a short. I got my first camera when I was 8 or 9, maybe. It's a Kodak Instamatic thing. You just with a blue flash with 4 flashes. So when you use the flash 4 times, you have to change it. Put another one on.
Oh wow, fun!
And I don't remember those. They might have been a little bit before my time.
You're so young.
Wait, you don't remember the cameras that you had to like?
Not with the 4 flashes. I remember like the ones that you have like 26 shots in the film, and you put like a film in, and you can take like however many
maybe I'm
pictures.
thinking about the wrong thing.
But that didn't sound what Espen meant.
This was the Instamatic thing. Was you had a cassette, not the film roll, but a cassette with a film roll. So you had to put the film cartridge into the camera, and then I just shot random things that looked fun, and I still have the photos. And okay, and I look at them and put them back in there. And then I got back to vad heter ungdomsskolan på amerikanska?
Like a middle school.
Yeah, middle school. We had you had some Thursday. We had 2 hours of chosen
like electives, like free classes you choose yourself.
Yeah, and there we had the photo and a darkroom thing. So then it came a little bit back.
With the darkroom and everything.
Yeah.
So then I started maybe thinking a little bit more artistic about the planning what I want to see on the photo.
So you've been doing photography almost as long as music, then, I guess.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you think they kind of fed into each other?
I think because if I didn't have music, I haven't been bored for a second in my life. I have too many things to do. So if I didn't have photo or music, I would have had something else.
Yeah. But when it comes to the actual creativity, do you think that, because they're both creative mediums, like photography and music, do you think they've kind of assisted each other, or
I guess maybe at least they come from the same room. I call it my brown little room in the back of my head. I love dark.
I wasn't expecting you to say head then. When you said I thought you were going to be like the back of my house. We have this little room.
I got this little chamber in my head. I call it the brown room, and because I love melancholic, dark things in all things, and I think by playing dark, sad, melancholic music, it keeps me happy. It keeps me glad. I
understand that. Yeah.
I think it's maybe on a level of having a punch bag if you're having some sort of too much aggressivity or aggression.
It's like having an outlet for stuff.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure because I haven't tried without. So, but I think my creative, the little brown room, it's dark and melancholic and sad.
Oh,
yeah, but it keeps me happy. But I love it. Yeah.
You know what? I actually really understand that. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine about something not quite the same, but something similar just a few months ago, where, because this was like in November, like the deepest part of fall, right before winter. It's getting like really dark, but it's like a bit too early for everyone to put up their Christmas lights, at least here in Norway. And I suddenly like noticed, I'm like, why? I'm like so much happier than I've been in the last few months. Why is that? And then I talked to a friend of mine, and I realized because all my favorite music is like moody, like melancholic. So I've like saved it up for like re-listening to everything during the fall. So I was really happy because I was re-listening to all of my favorites. And he was like, you know what? I know exactly what you mean, because I usually always get this like little spike of happiness during the fall when I get to listen to all my broody, moody, nostalgic, melancholic music.
Any guesses on if he's had his ADHD diagnosis? No, I haven't. I'm quite calm. I'm never stressed, but my mind is working pretty much all the time. From the second I wake up, I have some melody or some words I need to write down, or I got to fix this and that. And that. So
I love that.
Maybe something is connected a little bit wrong, but it's okay. I love it.
It's never wrong. It's just,
as long as
it's your way. It's the Espen way. I would love to be musically able in some way, because when people say that they can hear like music, not like, obviously if I think of a song I can hear it in my head, but when people say like they have a melody in their head or lyrics, for me that's just such a foreign concept because it's never been there. I can't play any instruments. I tried to learn when I was younger a little bit, probably didn't put as much time as I should into it, but I've never kind of just felt it was my thing. It just never felt comfortable or connected. And I love music, but that just kind of hearing melodies, I can't relate to it. So I'm quite jealous when people say that they can do it.
Yeah, but I guess if it's something you don't miss in your life, it's not important to learn it.
Mm-hmm.
But you said, because I don't remember exactly, but you've been playing a variety of instruments since you were quite young. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I've
never been really good at anything, but I play things I'm interested in. I play them quite okay.
Well, sure. I mean, it's you don't have to be great at it to get enjoyment out of it.
No.
Oh, I mean, you're good enough to be in bands playing. You're. When you say not great, I feel like that's probably just a harsh standard you put on yourself. I think I would probably consider you pretty great at it.
Probably, maybe on a late Saturday evening with too much beer. That's a blessing of because if people ask me what kind of instrument do you play, I consider myself as a bass player, and because I think the bass is getting into my spine, and it's much easier to play, at least on my level, and it's really it's a good instrument for making music, to make the riffs, because then I feel the punch at once, if it's good or not. So.
I always feel like, again, it's probably me not really understanding music as much, but I always assume everybody would want to go for the electric guitar and then kind of branch out from there. What made you? Because you said you picked up the guitar first and then went to bass after.
Yeah,
is it just that connection, that feeling?
It's my first band was I played drums. Second band was the bass, and the next after that was guitar and vocals, and then back to bass again. I think the bass belongs in the brown little room in the brain. The other things are just fun to play. The last few months I've played a little bit more guitar because now I'm in a band singing and playing guitar, so I have to practice to get a little bit better at least.
So I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous that you can play so many instruments, so flippantly mentioned as well. It's just like, well, by the way, I can also just play this and I can do this.
Yeah, but then Dan, you could also then come into my house and just fix like innumerable issues that I might have with my plumbing, and you would say that flippantly, and I'd be like, I don't know, it's all Greek to me, bro. You're like, oh, because you just need this 4 3/4 blah 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 blah. So
nobody ever serenaded anyone with plumbing.
Yeah, but life would suck without good plumbers, though.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, I've not been a plumber for 10 years.
Espen, you are just now witnessing another instance of Dan using his own felt inadequacies to lift someone else up, and me kind of trying to combat that a little bit.
Life would smell bad without plumbers.
Oh, too right, it would. Yeah. I
am very excited we have good plumbers. Let's just say that.
How did you get to the... You put it as Norse folk. I guess there's never really been a proper name for this genre. Like everybody has their own kind of thought of it. How did you end up there?
I started first time I was at a Viking market. I was as a photographer, 2012. I was asked to come and take pictures, so I was there. Before the market, all the Vikings are moving in on Monday, but the market starts on Friday, so the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is for courses and learning stuff from other Vikings. So I was there. I drove my then girlfriend to work, and then I went to the market from early. So I was there from they woke up until they went to sleep again. And I think it was so smell and sound when there was no other people there, just the Viking people.
Okay, yeah.
I got some kind of... I got hooked. So from 2012, I was at all the markets I could join. And on Friday or Saturday, on almost every market, there are some entertainment of some sort. People are singing or telling stories or jokes. And after listening to all of the entertainers, I started thinking, maybe this is something I can do. And at one specific market, there was some people singing and entertaining. And we were sitting 3 or 4 of the people that became Eldrim. We were sitting next to each other, and we just looked at each other and said, we can do this.
Hey.
And then we started. And then we started the band. We started to entertain at markets. So it started as Borre Viking and Song group. That was the idea. So all the members of Borre Viking Viking team could join if they wanted to sing or play something. But I had this, I want to make music. And so I asked we were 4 people at one rehearsal. So I asked, I'm planning on making music. Would you please care to join? And then we started Eldrim.
But you'd been in bands prior to that?
Yeah, with metal and rock and roll, yeah.
Were you interested in the whole Viking reenactment scene prior to going to that, or was that just you just happened to come across the market?
Yeah, I had been at a couple of markets, but I just been walking around well, it was open for public.
Yeah.
So I hadn't thought anything about it until I was there from morning till night. Got to know the people and the smells and the sounds, and yeah.
And it got you.
Yeah, it was something magical about it.
I love it when that happens. Just like something like with, like you said, sounds or smells, or sometimes for me it could also be like the point of the day and something with like the light hits something at just a certain angle and like completely unprepared. You're just suddenly like, what is happening right now? This is crazy.
The other members of Eldrin, were they into it? Were they also interested? I guess were they prior interested in the Viking reenactment scene, or did you all kind of embark on that journey together?
I think maybe we started. They started before me. I think in the Viking reenactment thing. Or maybe not Thomas. He joined the Viking thing after I joined, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm old.
No.
But so you were all a bit spread out when it came to like your experience with like the communities or what have you. But you were all like equally interested in like the music of it all. But were you like the first one to be like, but I want to make music, not just play it?
Yeah, I think so. Because I had heard Vardruna. I like, because then, there's a melancholy here. I need that in my life. Because the entertainment scene at markets is more happy, more medieval. Because we sang historical tunes, but we don't have any Viking music to sing, so it was more medieval and younger. And that's too happy.
Yeah.
I'm trying
with like da-da-da. Yeah.
I guess I'm trying to figure out how you get from metal to then playing what you do, and what's that transition like? Because most musicians we've had on here, they have quite a heavy interest in like the Viking scene, maybe prior to making music, or it's always kind of run concurrent. Is that right? Is that the right word? Concurrently
so.
Together. Yeah. Whereas it seems like you were pretty much metal. Then you had this wonderful day, and we're like, I want to make this kind of
it was
Norse folk. And
how do you? But
yeah, how'd you go about like just learning this whole new style of music?
I'm not sure. I've always played. I have earlier in my life. I've written Norwegian lyrics and poems, and I'm not really that into the gods and I was more. I want to tell these stories, but 1,000 years ago. I want to tell my stories, but how could they have been told? How would they? Because if I get a wooden fleece,
like a splinter,
wooden splinter in my finger today, it can be fixed easily. If you got a wooden splinter in your finger 1,000 years ago, you could die because you get the
true. If you get an infection, you're fucked.
Yeah. So it's trying to make my stories. How would they have been felt if someone was sick or someone, if you lost someone, if people were away? Trying to get my mind to think how bad, what is bad today, how bad would it be then?
I really love that. That's really interesting.
So I haven't really thought so much about religion or the gods or the mythology so much, maybe. More telling today's stories.
Like every day, just like how would life have been? Yeah.
Is there a Splinter Death song? Because I feel like
I have some death songs.
Is there one about a splinter?
No, not really about the splinter, but it could have been.
That would make that'd be a pretty metal way to die from a splinter, I guess. Oh dear. Yeah, it would have been a tough time, and I think we take it for granted a little bit. Well, was it last week we touched on this, Mags, where I might have been in the after show where we said, we were talking a bit about how not easy people have it today, but it's easier when you get these people online who are like, oh, I'd love to go back and be in the Viking Age.
No.
Yeah, was that the episode with Ben that we did a few weeks back?
It might have been, but I get the feeling it was after.
Where we talked about not just like necessarily how much harder life would have been, but rather how many things we take for granted now that maybe we wouldn't have been able to take for granted back then. Just kind of things
plumbers.
that are plumbers, fairly basic things. I, with my glasses, would have been walking around like this the whole time. My whole life would literally have been a blur.
I'm 56, so I would have been dead. I think with the average age around 45 or something.
Yeah, well, either you would have been dead or you would have been one of the few lucky ones that would like heighten it a little bit, and you'd be like, still here, man.
Well, yeah. How old was the Oseberg lady?
The oldest, they were both, for Viking Age standards, they were both pretty old. Like, I'm not saying, I want to preface this, I'm saying out of Viking standards, not today's standards, Viking standards, the youngest was in her 50s at somewhere, and the oldest was in somewhere between her late 70s and 80s. Yeah.
That's a fair
The oldest
age.
one was, I think she only saw the ground because she was really bent figure. By
yeah,
her,
she had some bones. I don't remember exactly what the medical condition is called, but some of her vertebra had started to fuse together. So she really would have had that like old crone stereotypical look of being extremely bent. Like she wouldn't have been able to twist her neck back up and stuff. She would have been extremely, like, not like Hunchback of Notre Dame style, but she would have been extremely hunched before her time, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been tough living to 80 back then, I imagine.
I mean, it's tough living to 80 now for a lot of people.
Don't say
so
that.
Imagine not having like heating. Imagine not having a freaking fridge where you could store all your food, not have to think about it.
Yeah, it would be.
Fridges is something I think about a lot, actually. When I'm like, oh, I wonder what it would have been like to live back then. And the first thing I think about is like sanitation products, like just soap. And toilet paper, and the other one is like fridge and food. Not
and
having
salt.
to worry about salt. Like
how expensive was salt?
Just not having to worry about like, if food. I will happily admit, or maybe kind of embarrassingly admit, that yes, of course, food gets spoiled in my house too. But I can just throw it away and buy some new ones. Like I don't have to think about, oh crap, like. Do I have to eat food that might kill me because I don't have anything else to eat?
Yeah, I went on a walk yesterday, and it was quite an eye-opening little walk. It was about 24 kilometres around North Yorkshire, but I've never seen so much death on a walk, or probably like just animals, in my entire life. It was, I don't know what was going on this walk, but I must have seen 30 plus dead animals across this
the
walk.
Apocalypse is now.
It was honestly, it was just so spooky in a way, but one of them was a sheep that had died in a field, but it clearly died very recently. It was maybe within the day, because it hadn't like swollen, it wasn't sunken either. There weren't a lot of flies around it, so it was pretty recent. And then it just got me thinking about how, it's one dead sheep, but there's 50 sheep in this field. So like, the farmer now has to, I guess, come down and find the sheep, then probably has to wonder what's killed it, because it didn't seem to have been eaten or attacked by anything. So is it a disease? Is it the water? Is it the food? Does it then like test all the sheep? Do all the sheep now have to be culled because they're gonna, cause disease on everything else? Do you now lose your livelihood? And all this stuff starts just going through my head. And even today, if that happens to the farmer, he loses a lot of money. It's gonna suck. But he's going to survive. But if that happened to you in the Viking Age, that's pretty much it. There's you're probably not coming back from that.
Well, you never know, though.
You must have nice neighbors. if you lose a whole herd, I feel like you're pretty knackered. Yeah, and it was just one of those moments where I really kind of got stuck, just thinking about all the things that we don't always see in, I guess, everyday life, and even just down to there were two rabbits that had myxomatosis. I don't know if you know what that is, but
No.
it's a really horrible disease. I think it was man-made, but I might be wrong with that. But it was introduced to Australia to try and wipe out or control the rabbit population over there.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that.
And then it's also come back in the UK, and it kind of messes with
Reverse colonialism. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it like messes with their eyes, their brain, like everything. Pretty much makes them into like little living zombies. It's really cruel. I'd seen it before.
Horrible.
I'd seen it before.
Rabbits. That's horrifying.
It's pretty.
Just the flesh wound.
Yeah, it's pretty much fatal in that there's not much you can do about it. But and you can literally just go up to the rabbit and you could pick it up. They don't run away. They don't do if they feel you, they kind of like move and run. But they're pretty much just not there. It's a really, really fucking horrible disease. And even just like seeing that was pretty eye-opening, because it's like we don't see a lot of this stuff before. But then I had this whole internal conflict of how I was like, I should probably kill this rabbit, because I know in my heart that's the kind thing to do. There's no fixing this. This rabbit's going to suffer for a few days. It's going to die anyway. I should kill it. But
am I able to kill it?
Well, that's it. But then the modern Dan was like, I can't do it. I can't bring myself. And then the whole walk back, and even today, I've been having this like thought in my mind of like, you're a bit of a coward. Should have just killed the rabbit. Like, that's the kind thing to do. And having like been really tough on myself of like, you should have been quote unquote like more manly for a better term, but that's the kind of the idea. It's just like you should have just done it. You should have been tough. It would have been the nice thing to do. But then I was just like, I can't do that. I can't kill this poor rabbit with my bare hands. And it's just like this walk was just for some reason just really kind of like opening to what, not necessarily what life would have been then, but just like the brutality of
reality.
Yeah. Of reality, exactly. Yeah. Are there any like topics like that? Because you mentioned that you mentioned on one hand that melancholy makes you happy, Espen, and also that you have a few death songs. So I feel like I'm kind of angling this question towards something, but I don't really mean to. But like, are there any like specific like realities about like what must life have been like 1,000 years ago that have inspired you a lot musically? Is it like the thing that I'm thinking about, like death and disease, or is it like other stuff too?
Much death and disease, yeah.
Sure, yeah.
But
I mean,
also they were kind of forced to travel to survive. Jump on board on a ship and just, hey ho, let's go. Maybe we'll find a better life. And they must have left somebody behind. And the somebody didn't know how long they would be gone, or if they ever came home, or who came home. So it's all those dark places where I can find stories. I'm happy.
yeah.
I think
That's
that's a perspective that we really overlook today, because we're kind of privileged that we know where people are all the time. Our loved ones, you can call them. If they don't answer and you don't hear back within half an hour, you start to panic.
Half an hour, that's long.
Yeah. I remember my phone blew up a few years ago because I went out to take like an after work beer, like Lønningspils, with a few colleagues, and I've just forgotten to I didn't even live with my parents at the time at all, but I lived with my sister and my then partner, and I'd forgotten to mention it, and we went out and I had my phone all silent in my purse, and my sister freaked out. She freaked out, and my then partner was like, she's probably fine. But my sister was just like, where is she? This is not like her. So yeah, just to the point of, we're very used to being able to get a hold of people like extremely quickly.
We are conform and comfortable.
But that idea of somebody, they go and you don't know, it might be sometimes years before they come back, but they must also be in the back of your mind always. Are they even going to come back?
Are they even alive still? That makes me think of, because there was this massive immigration from Norway to the States in the 1800s. That makes me think about that too, because there are so many people that I know that have like family stories of someone going out just to milk the cows and then coming out to check on them, and they just find a kicked over milk bucket, and no one ever heard from that person in the family ever again, and they just assume that they got on a ship to go to the States.
That's like the father going out for cigarettes.
Yeah.
Wow, that's an extreme, isn't it? Going to USA from
but like for real though. And then like someone in like the 1950s suddenly get a letter from like a family that they have in the States, and they're like, wait, what? And it turns out that like Svein Erik like left as an 18-year-old. Everyone thought he was dead, but no, he just went to New York and then like got on a cart to freaking Minnesota or something and started, I don't know, like a sweater vest company or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, America was the big thing, and during the Depression here, there was people, they wanted to get out. I guess it was the same in the Viking Age. There was not very much livelihood here, so they wanted more.
Yeah, and I think again that's something we probably overlook. Certainly, I mean, in the more safe countries, put it that way, I think we overlook that and we probably forget it, when you get a certain group of people who are like, oh, don't let people in, that kind of mentality where it's you forget that if it was the other way around, then you'd really want somebody to be kind enough to kind of to look after you. And we were lucky enough to not be in that position for most of us, and for hopefully most people listening to this podcast. But the position you have to be in to leave your family, leave everything, and to kind of just go and see what happens. Yeah, I get that there was glory and riches that could be had, but it's still you still have to have a certain level of, in my opinion anyway, like nothingness, or like not quite enough to keep you there. There has to be a certain level of kind of Okay, sadness might not be the right
Despair.
word, I don't know, but yeah. Like, because
Yeah, but like also what you're willing to risk. It's like I'd rather risk life and limb just on the off chance that I'll find something better.
Or really sick of milking the cow.
Yeah.
Just, you know what? I've had it.
No more. I'll go on the ship.
I will actually die of monotony and boredom if I have to stay here. So I'd rather risk my life, actually. Honestly, fair.
Because it's not as if sea travel was even that safe. Like, it's all right saying, oh yeah, you might, you're going to go to Lindisfarne and get some gold and silver and come back, but there's a big risky part in the middle of that where you've got to get across the sea, and that's dangerous in and of itself.
Yeah, despair or riches will make people do crazy shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you had to trust the styrman, the captain.
Yeah, the captain. Yeah.
Yes. I know where we're going. We're going that way now.
Yeah.
But I also
just look through this stone and
But I also wonder about like the mentality of people. Also, if they had like a different way of thinking about stuff than we do, that they were like, you know what? It's worth risking our lives on the off chance that we find something, I don't know, cool. That they just, I'm speculating here, but I also wonder if some of these people just weren't that scared. I would imagine they were, but at the same time, just being like,
I don't think the importance or the danger of dying was on our level.
No.
Because we are scared to lose a second of our life if we can enjoy every second. I don't think they had the same mentality around dying.
That's very true, actually. I think that's a good point. And we've talked about this before too, Dan, that like the way that we live our lives today, mostly for most of us anyway, this is also just speaking from my personal experience and those around me, but like I feel like the way that we live our lives today it's very removed from death in comparison to what it would have been like probably 1,000 years ago, just like 100 years ago even. But just like the amount of, and I'm not saying as in like a terrible thing, but more of like a cycle of life type of thing where like you would be used to seeing at the very least dead animals, but probably witness failed pregnancies, failed births, death of older family members, disease, just stuff that went wrong. Someone ate something that wasn't it, and they died.
Well, death would have just been... It's only recently that we don't really see death. It's probably only in the last 100 years, 150 years where, we don't have wet markets in the street. They had them in the Victorian era in London, where you're seeing that death, you're smelling it. They're, those people wouldn't have thought twice about crushing the poor bunny's skull because it would just be normal. Like for me, I don't think I've ever killed anything, so
I have.
That was like a huge. Oh, all right. Well,
I say that with embarrassment.
Is that what happened to that ex-partner?
No, they are very much alive, and they would 100% be able to take me down if I even tried. I can tell you that much. No, I say this with a bit. I can tell that I'm flushing, actually, or that I'm blushing. I accidentally cooked a pet fish of mine.
A pet fish.
I was switching out its water, and I forgot to check the temperature of the water.
Oh my god!
He was swimming a bit weirdly, and I stuck my hand in the water, and he was fucking boiling.
Oh my god! How does water heat up in a fish tank?
No, I was like, it was a bowl, and I'd put him in like this little container with like a little bit of water while I was switching it out, and then I just filled the bowl with water. Dumbass me, not check. I was like 16, 17, so I should have known better, and I hadn't like just checked the temperature of the water.
Got from the hot tap.
Apparently, because I just had like a mixed tap.
Needed a plumber.
And exactly, Dan. I needed a plumber. And then I put him in. Octavian was his name. Rest in peace, Octavian.
Oh, Octavian.
14 years dead.
Let's make him a song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Octavian the Tetra was a beautiful blue tail. And then I remember just, I was really torn up about it. I felt really bad about it. And I remember I didn't even tell my sister about it until a couple of years ago, I think it was, that I came clean. I was like, hey, you remember when Octavian died? And she was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, that was my fault. I accidentally cooked him. And she reacted in the exact way that I expected that she would, which is why I waited like 10, 12 years to tell her. She has not let me forget since.
So what was the lie? What was the lie then?
Yeah, that's a
he
great
ran
question.
away. Octavian ran away.
Yeah. No, I think I straight up just said he died. And we'd had fishes before, and our family were just like, "Oh no, that's sad." And I was like, I was really broken up about it, but I was also the kid who like I would bring a rock home, and then we really sad if my mom maybe put it outside. So my family they weren't really weirded out about the fact that I was so torn up about this fish. But I really felt like this is going to be a very inside Norwegian joke, Dan. I'm sorry, but it really was that like Ingrid Bjørnov song about the, the fishes, Espen.
I'm not sure. Do I know that?
The bop bop daddy daddy bop bop soup. Yeah, about this woman who pets her neighbor's fishes or something, and she accidentally kills them.
Oh.
Accidentally kills a fish.
I did that, so yes, I have killed something. Didn't mean to, but it happened. Guilty as charged, Your Honor. I'll see myself out.
Oh, well, it was an accident. But,
Sure. But I don't know if that makes it better. If I'd at least killed him on purpose.
Did you eat him?
I did not eat the Tetra. No, I flushed him down the toilet.
See, this is the thing though. I'm not I wouldn't say I'm like pro hunting, but I'm certainly like pro in certain circumstances. I think that hunting is a necessity when it comes to, keeping the correct levels of things. I think humans have interfered a lot in this world, and we now have a responsibility to make sure that certain animal levels stay at a certain level for all sorts of reasons. So, but then again, it's like, but I don't know if I could do it. 'Cause
I would not go hunting unless I had to. But I would have killed the rabbit.
Would you?
Yeah. I wouldn't be able to. Oh no, he's going to suffer.
That's that's the thing, and that's the kind of what sat with me was, and it was I can quite sit here and say it probably was like a cowardly thing on my part. Like I couldn't bring myself to do it, and that's just
I don't think it's cowardly, because it would have eaten my inside if I had to kill it.
Yeah.
But it would do it. It would do the same if I didn't kill it.
Yeah.
So it's a battle, the inside battle, doing good or good.
Yeah, like what kind of, yeah.
Yeah, it was. I told my friend about it after, and he made a great point. He was like, imagine just someone else walking, and they just see you like stomping a poor bunny to death. And like with no context, they just like walk you past and they just see me like.
And were you like wearing like a t-shirt and you could see all like your tats out, and they just like be super prejudiced about you immediately?
I'd be like, no, wait, listen.
I'm a good guy, actually.
Listen, like it needed to die.
I tell you, this rabbit in particular.
It was rabid. It was a rabbit.
It was a rabbit.
Honestly, it's stuck with me. I've been thinking about it since yesterday, because I just think at the time it genuinely upset me, because I was like, I know that I should kill it, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it, and like it did upset me, like brought me to the point of tears, where I was just like, I think the other thing is, if I'd have had a rifle, I would have shot it without a doubt. But it was the fact that like I would have had to like kill it with like a rock or something, and that was like what really played on me. And it's that kind of that separation that we have from today to the past, where there would.
No, I think that's a really good point. I think it's also really interesting how we have like different. Because I think I would have probably been in a similar place as you, Dan, where I would feel compelled to do it. But I think I would have psyched myself out of doing it in the sense that like I would have chickened out because I would have been so scared of not being able to do it properly. Of like causing this animal more pain because I'm like, I'm not a licensed animal killer. I don't know how to kill this thing.
You've got previous.
No, I actually I have a record actually. So just
fill a bathtub with hot water.
Yeah.
So.
Does anyone have a kettle that I could just boil this poor thing to death?
Yeah, rabbit boiler. I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I'm never gonna live this down.
All right, let's get off killing poor little rabbits. But I do think it's an interesting question for people to ask themselves what they would have done in that position. Because as well, I also think it's quite easy to say, yeah, I would have killed it until you're faced with that poor little rabbit. But the kind thing to do would have been to absolutely. Espen, am I right in thinking that you make some of your own instruments?
Yeah, I make. It's a kind of I started because we didn't have any instrument that had a deep voice like the bass.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I love the sound of the bow lyre, so I wanted to make a bow lyre with a deeper sound.
Okay, just addicted to that bass.
Yeah. Gotta love the bass.
Yeah.
So I had to make one because I couldn't afford buying one, and I don't think there were any to buy. So I made one. And
I love how you just said that so casually. Like, so I just made one. I love that.
Yeah, but that's patience. Everybody can do it. It's patience.
Sure.
It's like drawing. Everybody can draw if you have patience.
Yeah.
How did you learn to make one? For what did you say it was called? The bow lyre? Just for
bow
people.
lyre. I don't have anyone on the wall here now. It's a fiddle, but it is shaped like a lyre. So it's a mix between this and this.
Okay.
Aha!
Mm-hmm.
So this is it's a Kravik lyre. That's the next thing I'll finish.
Yeah, because I was like, that looks unstrung to me.
Yeah, it's.
I'm saying
It's
as
in the
if I
process.
have an idea what I'm talking about.
It's in the process of being finished.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and because I think I love making things. It's kind of a meditative thing to me. I wake up at 6 and go up in my workshop, and I eat when I start cussing at myself. When my patience drops.
Yeah.
Then I eat, and then I go back and make more.
Is there or are there blueprints for how to make something like that?
Yeah,
or
I think
is it...
there are. There's a couple of makers that has made books, and I think the books have, and you can buy some blueprints. But I kind of don't. I don't like copies. I want my own thing.
So you just
You figure it out on your own?
Yeah, I wing it. I read. Okay, I can make.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, but I can make because I've been googling, and it kind of when it comes to material, it's
Ooh, that was a nice sound.
Spruce is the best material for the sound top, and there are various woods you can use to make the body. And I have come to the conclusion that the black alder is the best and most beautiful wood for the body. It's resonant, and it's light, and it's hard. It's a really...
Black alder. What is that?
Svartord heter det på norsk.
Huh. Interesting. It's not a tree species that I'm familiar with. Huh.
No, it's not. It's used as wood or also firewood, or in. I think maybe a couple of generations ago, it was used for instruments in a short period.
Cool. But so, like strings, do you just get like strings offhand, or do you make the strings yourself?
No,
or, like,
these are nylon strings for guitar.
Okay, cool.
I have found them to be the most good sounding strings. People are using gut or hair, but I nylon strings traditional.
Is your preference?
Yeah. But now I have.
So that's a lyre, or
that's a lyre. That's a standard lyre. It's it's from a carving from the Hyllestad portal from the Hyllestad stave church. That's the only remaining part of the church. And everybody was making the Kravik lyre, and I thought, I want to make something else. Because Einar Selvik from Vardruna, he is playing a Kravik lyre, so everybody in the Viking community and all the music scene wanted Kravik lyres. They are beautiful, but I didn't want to make one, so
you want something different.
I hadn't seen anyone making a Hyllestad, so I made something.
Is that the one that, because Hyllestad, that's the one with the Sigurd Favnesbane?
It's with Gunnar.
Gunnar, my bad.
Gunnar in the snake pit.
Gunnar, that's why I mixed them up. Because is that the one that he plays with his feet?
Yeah, he was bound, thrown into the snake pit with his lyre, and he played the lyre to make the snakes fall asleep, and every snake fell asleep except from one. That bit Gunnar, and he died.
Yeah. Unfortunate. When you put all that effort in, when playing the lyre with your freaking feet, and there's one stupid snake.
and where could it have been? Because he must have been allergic, because in Norway there are no deadly snakes.
Yeah. So technically it probably wasn't even a snake. It was like an adder of some kind. Yeah. But
the adder in Norway isn't deadly. Unless
you're unless you're allergic.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing with wasps. Not that dangerous unless you're allergic.
So I make my instruments.
Have you tried playing it with your feet?
I actually, because when I decided to make one, I posted the start of the process on Facebook, and I actually promised to do that. I haven't yet. I need to find a snake pit, though.
Yeah, you've got to make it as authentic as possible.
Yeah. I mean, you could probably just get like a bunch of like fake snakes from like Party City or something.
No, there's got to be some jeopardy to it.
I need to grow longer toes.
Yeah. Or toenails, I guess.
Yeah, but toenails, they don't get straight. They bend around the toe.
Yeah, they bend. That would be very different. That would be difficult
really ugly. As if toes weren't ugly enough.
I love how you so easily said you just decided to make them. Anybody can make them. And then pulled out an absolutely beautiful instrument. I'm like, I can make that, Espen.
It's patience.
The neck part that's like that's almost like a horseshoe shape. How do you do that?
I just cut it out with a saw.
So is that cut? It's not like a straight piece that's bent.
No.
That's what I was wondering.
It's a wide piece of wood. It's 7 centimeters thick and 40 wide.
Okay. I thought it was like piece. I thought it was like a straight piece that you'd maybe like softened and bent.
Dan's head was all just like trying to figure out like what tools did you use to bend this.
Yeah.
I guess it could have been done, but no, that's too much work.
Not enough patience for that.
No.
How annoying would it be? Is it suddenly like split or cracked?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
and it can. There's no guarantee. It's wood, so it suddenly can. And
But they were also so gorgeous and just how like polished and soft they look, like the shine.
Yeah, I like it when it's not high gloss. I like when it looks like someone has made them by hand.
Mm-hmm. Do you make them to sell, or do you just make them for yourself?
I make them, period, and then I sell some.
Okay.
It's because now I was so lucky to get in contact with someone who had a pile of black alder, and so I bought a lot. I bought everything she had, and so now I have 10 in the making.
Oh, nice.
So I'm not going to use all of them.
No.
I probably sell most of them.
Because I feel like this is how my brain works. I look at it and I think it's beautiful. I'm like, I would love one of those. I could hang it up in the living room behind me. It looks so beautiful. But then I just know it would never get played because I just know that I couldn't play it. And then it's just a waste, I feel like.
Yeah, but the lyre is a really thankful instrument to own, because when it's tuned, everything you do is beautiful. You can also, everybody is a musician with the lyre.
Oh, well.
So, I'm not.
I feel like we should put this to the test, Dan.
Maybe
that's a good excuse for you to. What?
So I popped this up, Espen, because somebody asked where are they sold.
Someone
asked where are they sold.
Where do you sell them? If you do sell them, is it word of mouth or?
Yeah, more like if I decide to sell one, I just post a picture on Facebook or the Norwegian eBay called Finn. But this is like everything you do is beautiful. If it's tuned, it's just dum, 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 dum. I'm not
he's
tuning.
not wrong.
Yeah, you have to believe me. Everything you do when
No, but
it's tuned.
it was still beautiful.
Yeah.
But now it's really out of tune, so.
It does sound beautiful, but...
and it actually sounds fairly melancholic, just straight off the bat.
Yeah, it does. It's a really... the same with the bowed lyres. They sound like they have been... molested or something, because they are so sad and
oh, they have been the victims of some sort of unspeakable trauma.
Yeah. That's why I love them. It's that you can make them sound happy though if you play really traditional folk songs with it, but in my way of playing it sounds really sad.
Sure. I'm really curious now about like the difference between a bow lyre and just a lyre.
Yeah,
couldn't tell the difference.
If you bow it, it's a bowed lyre. If you pick it, it's a lyre.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it's the same instrument?
No, it's not the same instrument.
Okay.
A bowed lyre has a bent saddle. So you can play on through it. Almost always have a bent saddle, so you can play all 3 or 4 strings, or 2. And the lyre has often from 6. Lyre is a harp, but a short, really narrow harp. You play it like a harp.
Right.
Okay. Have you made any more traditional instruments? Like, did you start making guitars and then get into that, or was it literally just because you wanted one and like you said you couldn't afford it, and that was the first instrument you made?
Yeah, that's. I had some plans many years ago. I think maybe I have my guitar designs lying somewhere. I was planning on making a guitar. I think maybe in the 80s. Early 90s, maybe. But then it just disappeared in the brain.
Yeah, I have a lot of projects like that as well.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. I have a lot of unfinished projects too. Like, and my mom, she was going to make her own bunad, the traditional Norwegian costume, national costume. I think she had like a set that she bought in the 80s that she was going to do. And then I was born. She was like, I'll make it for you. And then she never did. And then they bought one for me. And then she eventually just copped and had one tailored for herself as well.
But that's
So I know the feeling. So all credit to you that you actually got to make all these instruments, that you did it.
I get some, and maybe that's where the ADHD might come in, because when I decide on something, I often get, like I said, I go up in the workshop at 6, or when I had my coffee, I go up in the workshop and I just and go to sleep again.
Yeah. I'm similar with when I get into things. It's just that hyper focus.
Hyper focus.
Yeah, just on with it. Let's wrap up the main show, and we'll let people ask you some questions. Then we'll let you get on with your evening, Espen.
That consists of rehearsing more guitar playing.
Ooh.
Yeah, wonderful.
And maybe get there, because I bought a really dirt cheap guitar, and it's like cutting the fingers on the frets. So I need to do something about it. It's terrible.
That sounds like does not sound comfortable at all.
No.
Yeah. Espen, where can people find you social media wise if they want to?
I am on Facebook. My Facebook, lately at least, is not available if you are not comfortable with me being political.
Okay.
Good on you.
You might want to jump out again if you don't agree with my... Because, lately, I don't want to talk too much about it now.
But nice disclaimer. But anywho, is it just your name on Facebook, or is
Espen Winther on Facebook, or my photo page on Facebook is WinPix with double U, Winter Pictures.
Yeah.
Winther Pictures.
Winther? I think you should start going by that. Espen Winther.
Or Eldrim, my band that was... has ended now, is Eldrim on Facebook or YouTube. I think maybe you or what are these streaming platforms again?
Twitch,
Spotify.
I think
Apple
we are on
Music,
any streaming platform.
You are, yeah, you are. Mags, where can people find you?
when I am online, or when I post online once in a blue moon, you can find me on Instagram at ArcheoMags, Archeo with a K.
There you go.
Do I have Instagram? Yes, I do.
Yeah, Instagram was WinPix. Was it?
Yeah.
I
think so.
I'm pretty sure it is. I'm just going to double check now.
I'm not really so active there.
Yeah.
I post some pictures now and then.
It's actually WinPix 69 is what it is.
Yeah, because somebody had used WinPix already, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dan knows all about this. Daniel _ Farron.
Well, as we get to that, let's get to that. If you want to follow me, it's Daniel _ Farron 1.
Because Daniel Farron was taken.
Someone's got it. And then it's Horns of Odin for the Business, Nordic Mythology podcast across the board. Give us a 5-star rating, positive review wherever you get your podcast. Hit the little bell, the subscribe button. Watch the episodes on YouTube. They're a lot of fun. Like I said, hopefully they should have been streaming to YouTube. I think maybe. Who knows? We'll find out after. Espen, thank you very much. Let's let people ask you some questions, and then we will get out of here.